Okay, from a couple of years ago, I made a video about Chris Cagle, one of my most inspirational artists for doing what I do even to this day. Over 20 years of doing this, it's kind of like a semi-hobby or whatever. But anyway, I want to do the tutorial on Chris Cagle's song from about a decade ago, a hit. I think he made it to about top 12 in the charts or whatever. I mean, I think it's a '1 song, and that's all that matters. Me and Chris and everyone else who's a fan of his, right? So anyway, I'm gonna promote Chris's song here a little bit. So this is gonna be the lesson. I'm not gonna sing the song. Well, maybe I still will. On that very first day, the Lord sat down, saw fit to say, "Let there be light," so we could tell the daytime from the night. Okay, so basically we're gonna start off. There is a bit of an intro on this song here, but and I'm not gonna go over like how chord shapes are, or whatever. So if you know what your B flat, C, D, E, F major, F sharp is or whatever, that's kind of where you got to be at for these lessons. Like, I'm not the greatest guitar player, greatest singer by any means, but I'm just not going to get into that. So if you know that on guitar, great, then listen to this. But I just only have so much time on this video to make here too. So anyway, basically the song starts off with a D. It's a D, and you add to the E, so E sharp, F. So then you go on the F string on the thin E string. Just hold that on with a D chord, okay? So we're gonna go like 2 strokes kind of. And then we're basically gonna go to a variation of, I see Chris playing this here. He leaves his pointer finger on the 4th string down, so E, A, D, on the G string here, okay? He leaves that there, and then he just basically puts his Johnny Cash flipping off finger on the thick E string here, okay? So 2 strokes on D, and then the variation of a G. And then he's gonna take the flip off finger here and then drop that down to the A string, which is the 2nd string from the top, the 2nd thick string, okay? Drop that down as if it's like a C add 9 variation, okay? So we're gonna go. So I'm gonna go an upstroke. I can go 2 strokes down, and then I'm gonna go kind of like that. And then it gets a little bit tougher, so you got to be a little bit more mediocre, and you got to switch the chord fairly fast here, okay? Then we're basically going to go into a C shape, which is actually a D, but you're moving it and then down 1 fret, and then yet again 1 more fret, okay? So let's go all in here. We're going to go D variation with kind of D variation 7 or whatever. So up to the G variation, down, up, and then go into that. It looks like it's a C formation, but it's actually C sharp, E. So it's actually an E, a variation of an E when you just go up the 2 frets, okay? On that very first day, the Lord sat down, saw fit to say, "Let there be light." So then you just go back into the D, so we could tell the daytime from the night. And then he spoke again. So that's basically your verse, okay? So then basically when you go into the pre-chorus, you're gonna go, there's a bit of a, okay, not muted strings, okay, of what Chris does in the timing. So then you can go, then basically you're gonna go the same thing as what a B flat would look like, but then just slide it up to, so B flat, B, C, okay. And if you're double jointed, you can just use your ring finger here to put on all three strings, but I certainly can't do that. So I just have to do basically a suspended. So, and the mountains rose up, muted strings. Across the Great Plains, muted strings. And all the angels up in heaven started singing. All it's missing is a pretty thing. With an A, muted strings. Let there be cowgirls for every cowboy. And basically that's the song. You know, there's the big electric guitar solo or whatever, which is super cool in it and stuff. But there we go. Chris Cagle, Let There Be Cowgirls.